All right, welcome back to this second part on our goal setting process inside of Notion. And let's just dive straight into our working space. So, the first thing that we are going to do is open up our database collection hub. And this time we're going to navigate down to the SMART goals. And the SMART goals, kind of tongue in cheek. Yes, SMART is a very popular goal setting method, but I also mean SMART in the sense of we want to set SMART goals. We want to set goals that make sense, goals that get us to where we are going. So, inside of this database, we have a bunch of properties. The first one is the goal name. The goal name needs to describe the goal very clearly, right? We want to know what it is that we want to do. Then we have a status right over here where we can turn it to active. Next up, completed or terminated. We have the date span, which is basically how long we will take for this goal, right? It's the time-bound aspect of this goal. We have a progress bar, so we can easily, in a visual overview, see how our goals are coming along. And then we have a relationship to the habits database, the vision goals database, and the projects database. And I'm going to explain later how all of this works, but these are the properties that we have built into our SMART goals database. All right, let's open up this page and actually see what this template looks like. So just like with the vision goals, it's very important. It's very, very, very important. I'm going to keep stressing this over and over, that we make excellent goals, that we set excellent goals, right? It's much better to make one great decision than making 10 good decisions or 100 shitty decisions, right? And this is something that a lot of people get stuck into. We say yes to a lot. We start a lot, right? And I'm guilty of this. I say yes to a lot. I got all these different projects going on, but these are good decisions or mediocre decisions or mediocre opportunities. What you really want is the great decisions. We want the great opportunities. We want the great goals, because one good investment of time, of energy, of money can pay itself back 100-fold, 1,000-fold, 10,000-fold, right? So we want to look for those areas in our life where we can really create exponential growth. So that's why it's so important to really think deeply about the goals that we're setting. And that's why we start with the why of the goal. Why do I want to set this goal, right? As Nietzsche said, he who has a strong why to live can bear almost any how. If you are really in touch with your motivation, if you know why you are working towards something and you actually believe in that why, it's going to make everything you do so much better, so much easier, so much more enjoyable. So we really want to connect with the deeper purpose behind a goal. And that's also where the vision goal comes in, right? Because in the vision goal, we really did that deep purpose setting. We really looked at, hey, where do I want to move to contribute to my life purpose? So we want to ask ourselves the question, how does this goal relate to the vision goal, right? How does it contribute to this vision goal? So we pick a vision goal that we want to move towards, and then we're going to ask ourselves, how does it contribute to this vision goal? So once we got in touch with our purpose and our why, we're going to once again move into the sacrifice. Saying yes to one thing means saying no to everything else, right? Everything comes with a trade-off. And I know I'm repeating a lot in these videos, but it's so important to understand and internalize these things. So we're going to take a bunch of time here and a bunch of questions to really look at the sacrifices that we will have to make in order to pursue this goal. So the first thing we're going to ask ourselves is, what are the costs, right? What are the costs of creating an online business? Maybe it's going to cost me 100 euros. Maybe it's going to cost me 3 working days per week. Maybe it's going to cost me my ability to work out every single day, right? Write down everything that this goal might cost you. And then ask yourself the question, am I willing to pay this price? Because if I'm not willing to pay this price, then I should not set this goal, right? I'm setting myself up for failure. I'm making this imaginary fantasy direction, this thing where I want to get, but I'm not willing to pay that price. So I'm never going to get there. So it's much better to set a goal that we are willing to pay for than set a goal we're not willing to pay for. Then the next question we want to ask ourselves is, how does my day-to-day life look like when I'm pursuing this goal, right? Life is just a string of little moments all strung together. We're just always living in the now. Everything is just a small thing that's happening, right? And we have a few peak experiences in our life, but most of our experiences are plateau experience, right? The majority of our life is just regular day life. So it's really important to think about, what does our day-to-day life look like when we're pursuing this goal? And is that the sort of lifestyle you want to live, right? Do I want to wake up every morning and work for 2 hours on building a website? If that's something I want to do, then great. But if that's not the type of day-to-day life that I want to live, then maybe once again, we should reconsider this goal. Last question on the sacrifice part. Do I want the lifestyle that comes with the pursuit of this goal, right? It kind of ties into that day-to-day life, but the lifestyle is a bit bigger. Let's say, for example, I want to start a fitness company, right? If I start a fitness company, there's a high likelihood that I need to embody and understand the fitness lifestyle. And is that a lifestyle that I want to live? Or do I want to change that lifestyle in a way that it suits me? You really want to think about this, because the lifestyle you're living, once again, has a great influence on all those day-to-day moments. And at the end of the day, that is all we have, right? The present is all that we have. So think deeply about this. What are the costs? What does my day-to-day life look like? What does my lifestyle look like? And then, am I willing to pay that price? Am I willing to do those things? Cool. The next thing we want to do is have a look at the challenge. And what I mean by that is, we want to know how challenging a goal is, right? The best results happen when we're at the edge of our capabilities. That's when we enter flow states, when what we can do and what we want to do is just on the cutting edge of what we're actually capable of doing, right? We want to push ourselves to that limit and a tiny bit over it. And then we lose ourselves, right? We lose ourselves in that process. That's what we want to have on our goals. We want to have a goal that is challenging enough that it really forces us to be more than who we are today, but that is not so challenging that it's unrealistic and that we are no longer motivated and we give up. So the first question there is, how challenging is this goal? Just think about how challenging it already is. We want to kind of get a benchmark of the difficulty of this goal. Then the second question we want to ask is, am I on the edge of my capabilities when I set this goal? Is this something that's really pushing me towards that edge and a little bit over it? Not too far, but a little bit over it. And if that is not the case, how can we make our goal easier or harder so it matches my capabilities? How can we optimize this goal for really getting us into those flow states, for really pushing ourselves and creating something that we can be truly proud of? Right, so that's the challenging part. Then the next part is the complexity. And complexity really relates to how many moving pieces are inside of this goal, right? A very simple goal might be, I want to run a 10K, right? That's just you and your shoes and going out a few times per week. Of course, there's different parts in there, but it's not very complex. Whereas if I'm going to say, I want to make a business, right? I want to make a business on the blockchain and I want to get involved with all these different stakeholders and I want to get all these different pieces in there, right? I want to fix a sustainability crisis or whatever. It becomes a really complex goal. So before we set our goal, we want to think, how complex is our goal and what parts and what people and what environment is influencing it, right? What are all the moving parts in this goal? And really think deeply about this, right? Who is involved? Am I doing this by myself? Is this a team effort? Are there customers? Are there people that want to support me? What does the environment look like, right? Am I allowed to do what I want to do? Is the public opinion on this favorable? Do I have the tools and the resources to do this? You want to really get a complete image of all the different moving parts of this goal. And once you have that complete image, then you ask yourself, will I be able to handle this complexity? And if so, how will I do it? And there's a very big chance that you'll find out that actually you won't be able to handle this complexity. Actually, you don't know if you can do that all by yourself. So then we want to ask ourselves, what would I need in order to handle this complexity? Who would I need in order to handle this complexity, right? All these different moving pieces. How can I set a framework? How can I create a plan or a structure that will help me in handling this complexity? And then we're moving here down into the last part, which is the definition of done. And this is really where a SMART goal differs a lot from a vision goal, because SMART goals are meant to be completed. They are milestones we set for ourselves, and they're goals we want to achieve. So the first question we ask ourselves, what do I need to do to complete this goal? What are the steps that I will have to do to complete this goal? And this doesn't have to be very granular, right? This can be quite high level, but we want to know what are the separate pieces, the separate chunks of action that I will need to take in order to complete this goal. And after that, we want to have a checklist of when the goal is considered done, right? We want to have measurable things. If I complete the website, if I sell 500 pieces of merchandise, if I get all my tests, that's when the goal is done, right? And that should be super duper measurable, right? We want to have check boxes so that at the end of the goal, we can check all of the boxes off and we'll know if we actually finished that goal, yes or no. Then, the next thing we're going to do, and this is where the relation comes in with the projects and habits database, is we're going to set either a habit or a project or both that is going to move us in the direction of this SMART goal, right? So if we go back further to the running example, or actually let's take this business example because it's in here. If I want to create an online business, maybe I need to learn Python, right? Python is a programming language. Maybe I need to learn Python. But learning Python might not really be a project, but it might be more of a habit thing, right? I just need to practice every single day. There's not a lot of different moving pieces. There's not a lot of complexity. I just need to learn how to program Python. Then that's a habit I'm going to create here, right? I need to learn Python programming 5 times per week, and I'll do that 45 minutes per day, right? I need that in order to complete this SMART goal, right? The other thing is the projects. These are the more complex things. These are the moving pieces. Other people are involved, right? These are the kind of building blocks, one of the building blocks for our SMART goals. So I want to set 1 or 2 or 3 projects that I want to work on in order to move towards this SMART goal. Now, I can recommend the projects video if you want to know on how to build projects, but basically these 2 things are, let me just show that once again here, the building blocks together of how we move into our SMART goals, right? We want to set projects and habits. So we not only set these goals, we not only give ourselves direction, but we translate this direction in action, right? And that's really, really important because so often people dream, they have ambitions, right? But a goal without a plan is just a dream. We need to have that plan. We need to take that action. So you can also iterate through this goal a few times. You don't necessarily have to if you're already happy with where it's at. And then if you found that goal, if you got that SMART goal set, right, create an online business that can sustain itself. Then once again, we make that commitment. We once again make that promise to ourselves. We make that deal with ourselves to really execute on this goal. We are going to strive to complete this goal. We are going to complete this goal, and everything that we do, everything that we filter in our day-to-day life is going to be filtered throughout these goals. Is it moving me closer to the completion of this goal? Then we do it, and if it's not, we don't do it, right? This is who we are. This is our life purpose. This is the direction that we want to move into. These are our few excellent choices. So let's really make them excellent and go 110%. And there you have it. That was a lot, and it wasn't as mechanical and organizational as the other videos, but it was really more about reflection and insight and giving ourselves a direction to move towards. This is hard work. This is work that takes time. This is work that takes a lifetime. So give yourself that space. Don't be afraid to fail, but take some time and energy to think about where you want to head, right? Set that excellent goal. Set that excellent direction. These are just a few decisions you need to make, but make them count. Because if you set the proper decision, everything else in your life is going to come so much easier. So I wish you all the best on setting excellent goals. If you have any questions, let me know. And let's get after it.